Ladies and gentlemen, this is It's All Good, man. The Better Call Saul podcast. My name is Brian, and with me, as always, is Forgetful Dave. Forgetful Dave, how you doing today?
I don't remember.
All right. Dave and I also host the Nothing Important podcast. Check that out at nothingimportantpodcast.com. And on iTunes, you can also check out A Plumbus Among Us, the rickest, Rick and Morty Podcast, where Jeff, our perennial third mic, and I talk about the awesome show, Rick and Morty. New episodes of that coming soon. New episodes of Nothing Important coming soon. But right now we are talking about episode 309 of Better Call Saul, which is titled, Dave?
Autumn.
I
mean fall.
Fall. Okay, sweet. Before we get started, we have a partnership with the TV Time app. Make sure to download that on your smartphone. Track the shows that you watch. Talk to other people that watch them.
Yep.
Make memes.
Yep.
And upload pictures.
Yep.
You can even do video comments on there. It's kind of fun.
Good times, good interaction. Some people have already left us some interesting stuff that we have discussed on Previews with the Prior.
Mm-hmm.
When I don't forget things to edit Preview with the Prior.
Yep, that's true. One of our TV Time listeners, F. Qureshi, Dave, wants to know why our theme song cuts off abruptly.
It is 100% because the theme song to the actual show cuts off abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with Dave Porter, who does the music.
Yep.
I said, is that a decision on your part, or is that the way the song was written? He said it was a decision on my part to cut it off and, just kind of leave you hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So I incorporated that into ours. And then at the end of the episode, whereas Better Call Saul has a reinterpretation of the theme song,
mm-hmm.
I just play the full version with an actual resolved ending.
Gotcha. And that's actually like the third theme song that we've used, right?
I think so. It's the second. We redid the drums on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it's pretty much the same. It's our friend Pat on mandolin, our friend Alex on vocals, and our friend Tom on the rest of the crap.
Yeah, and when we first started,
our friend Don on drums.
For those of you new listeners out there, when we first started, like season 1, we used the Junior Brown Better Call Saul song that they used to promote the series.
Right.
Yeah.
Which Dave Porter wrote the music, Vince
mm-hmm.
Gilligan wrote the lyrics, and Junior Brown came in and knocked it out because he's the man.
Yeah, and we actually got permission to use it from Dave Porter himself.
Yeah, he thought it was actually, we didn't get permission. We asked for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But he was actually kind of flattered by it. He thought it was super cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So when you see Dave Porter's name pop up, we've actually talked to him before, so make sure to go back on the feed and episode listings, and you'll see amongst our many interviews with many people involved with Better Call Saul, one
mm-hmm.
of our earliest ones was with Dave Porter, the sound guru for Better Call Saul.
Also, my first solo interview that was, and
that's right.
It was fun. It was. Yeah. If you want to hear me talk, which I do talk, I talk more on this podcast than any other podcast, actually. So.
Yeah, you do by far. Actually.
Yeah. Well, that was the color guy
mm-hmm.
to your play-by-play, as
mm-hmm.
it were. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Episode 309. We open up, we see Jimmy in the parking lot, and he has a plate of kitty cookies.
That's right.
I like just the small details of how he unwrapped the stack of paper plates, doing the whole, run your finger around until it eventually cuts the plastic.
Right.
And I also like when he was pulling out the store-bought kitty cookies.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was broken, and it just kind of cracked me up that he pulled the broken one up and then set it back down.
Right.
It's such a realistic and minute detail, but those little things kind of crack me up.
That's what sets the show apart. Side note, this is how I show up to parties.
with kitty cookies?
With kitty cookies in the store-bought container,
mm-hmm.
the wrapped up paper plates. I separate them. I put the cookies on the plate, wrap it in foil like they're homemade,
mm-hmm.
walk up to the door.
Yeah, it turns out Jimmy is there pretty much doing a, I guess customer follow-up is the pretense that he's there under.
Yeah, the pretense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because he quickly find out why. But I love the kitty cookies make sense because he wanted to remind Mrs. Landry of Felix and Oscar,
mm-hmm.
her two cats.
Now, did we ever figure out if she was the Alpine Shepherd Boy lady?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm pretty sure she was.
I think she was the Alpine Shepherd Boy lady. She's definitely the two cat Felix and Oscar lady. I'm pretty sure that's the same lady.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
I have watched season 1 twice, but I don't remember.
I almost forgot about the whole Sandpiper thing there for a while.
I was thinking about it actually not too long ago. What's up with that? The Davis and Maine thing. I mean, well, that plot line got us an interview with Ed Begley Jr. But yeah, I was wondering what was up with the Sandpiper case. But they did say, I think even back then, it takes years to resolve these RICO cases.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy's there inquiring with Mrs. Landry about the Sandpiper lawsuit. She ends up handing him the settlement paper, or kind of where they're at in the process. So I guess maybe it's like a progress report.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the class representative. And the way he looked at it, I wasn't sure how it was going at first. I wasn't sure what they were getting at.
Yeah, I would agree.
And he's it turns out he's there to try to push her towards, as the class representative, settling the whole thing.
Right. He needs some scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the bringing the recall of Aaron. How Aaron is the one handling the client.
Bitchy Aaron.
Client relations now.
Right. Aaron's the girl that in season 2 got on him at Davis and Maine for throwing the Pepsi can in the garbage. And she reminded him to recycle.
The nerdy stickler girl.
Yeah. And we get to see Rose, Myrtle, and Helen. They roll up.
That's right.
Yeah. Try to get Mrs. Landry to go to chair yoga.
Oh, chair yoga.
Mm-hmm.
It's good times.
At first, I forgot that Jimmy was part of he was part of the settlement for the lawsuit, like the holding group.
Yeah.
I forgot he was part of that.
He gets like the finder's fee for it.
Right. So I thought where they were going was he kind of remembered the lawsuit and he was going to try to weasel his way in by befriending her and like borrowing money.
Right.
But no, it turns out he's part of the common fund.
Yeah.
That gets paid as part of the lawyers that brought the suit.
1/15.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the math on that? Like, I'm not a math guy, but what is the math of that? Because
15 times 1.16 million.
Well,
it comes out to.
It's
what? No, I'm sorry.
It's total 17.4 million is the total.
Is over of equals percent over 100. What was the total?
17.4 million.
Yeah, 17.4 million.
Right.
Times 15% is 39. I didn't do that right.
See, this is where my math got up, because it kind of insinuates that he's looking at $1,160,000 as a payout, but he says that he's 1/15th of the 30% or something like that. So isn't that like $300 something thousand? Not
no.
1 point.
It's 0.06%. 0.07%. So if you take 17.4 million times 0.07%, comes out to about 1.2 million, which he says he's getting 1.16. So if you round it off, it's pretty accurate math.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not a math guy, because he says he's 1/15th of the overall pool, but later on he also states that he's 20% of the common fund. So does that math match up?
I don't know what the common fund is. Oh, so if he's 20%.
Right. See, they give two. And it's totally possible that my math is terrible on this.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like the math didn't add up in my head. How's he getting 1.16 million if he's only 1/15th of the 30% for the common fund? But then he also mentions later on in the episode to Kim that he gets 20% of the common fund. So I'm not really sure how the math adds up on that.
I'm not either. This is one of our moments.
And I've watched it 3 times.
Okay.
Like, I've watched the episode 3 times, twice on my own.
Once with me.
And once with you.
I've only watched it the one time that we watched it.
Okay. And so I don't understand the math, although I guess it's possible that.
Well, the numbers you gave me seem to add up.
Okay.
1.16 million divided by 17.4 million is, in fact, 1/15th.
Okay.
It's 0.666%.
Okay, so if anybody out there could correct me, because I'm pretty sure at the end when he's talking to Kim, he says something about how he gets 20% of the common fund. So that math doesn't add up to me.
I'm not sure what that even means. I don't know what the common fund is.
I think the common fund is what's split up after the paid out to the actors in the class action.
I don't know.
Okay, so if anybody out there, if the math adds up, the math adds up. These are just the notes that I made, and they made sense to me at the time when I made it. So moving on, we are at the after the gross ass urinal opening. We see Mike in the lobby of Madrigal Electromotive.
Yeah, it's an interesting segue into the next scene. Yeah,
literally a segue. Rolls by. I love how old-fashioned Mike is completely unimpressed with the newfangled assholes on the Segway in a corporate setting. Like he's just kind of sitting there waiting for his meeting with Lydia, and he just kind of rolls his eyes like, "Oh, what the hell am I?
Yeah, what am I doing here?
What the hell am I doing?"
He's so old school,
right? And it turns out this is what Gus was talking about: is hook up to get Mike the money without costing him anything. He's going to funnel Mike's $200,000 in the form of a paycheck for a consultant for Madrigal.
right?
Electromotive.
Well, they wanted a logistics consultant,
Mm-hmm.
but Mike says maybe I should be more of a security consultant, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. I love how he inquires what's a logistics consultant, and her answer is just somebody who consults about logistics.
Yeah.
Like, because she's kind of just unimpressed by the fact that he's there too.
Right.
Like, she seems like from the get-go pretty perturbed that she even has to go through this song and dance.
Well, she did say he's the first of this kind, so she doesn't really know what she's doing either.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably just as wary of the risks involved. Because Mike's very wary.
Right.
He's being very, very cautious about this.
And he brings up good questions because he doesn't want his real name put on the record. And she's like, well, my real name and everything is on the record.
Right.
And basically your $200,000, no offense, really isn't shit. It's a rounding error.
Right.
So
yeah, like
it won't look.
You overestimate your importance within this scheme, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. But Mike was impressed with the office. Like he says, it's a nice office. I mean, it seemed like a pretty nice, solid.
Well, there's a lot of money going through there.
Yep. Mike calls Gus a drug dealer.
Yeah, you're risking a lot for a drug dealer.
Right. And she says, if you think that's all that he is, you don't know Gustavo Fring.
Oh, but he will.
Mm-hmm.
But he will.
But he will.
Is Mike the one that almost killed Lydia? He was going to kill her, and she's like, just don't let my daughter know what happened. And that kind of makes him change his mind.
Yeah, you know what?
I just recently watched that episode.
Probably. And then Walt ends up killing her in Breaking Bad with the stevia.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, at the last.
I think I remember being satisfied at her death. Though I was never a big fan of that character.
Well, it was the last episode.
Ah.
They met in the diner, and he poisons her tea. She calls Todd, who got killed in the final when he created the robot and mowed everybody down. Uh-huh. And he answered the phone, and he basically says, basically he's taunting her by asking her about why she doesn't feel well. And he says, I put the rice in that stupid stevia stuff I think he even says stupid stevia crap that you throw in your tea.
Huh.
And basically taunts her before she dies.
Wow.
Interesting to note, though, in Better Call Saul, right, where we're at now, Lydia tells Mike not to worry because he's just one person in a worldwide organization of 114,000 employees.
Uh-huh.
In Breaking Bad, the question of the size of the company comes up once again. And because Lydia is trying to get Walt to push his meth through
Madrigal?
Yeah, through Madrigal, right? Because she's a logistics person, so she can move all this shit. It was like a very almost parallel description in Breaking Bad to the one she just gave in Better Call Saul, right?
Right.
But in Better Call Saul, she says there's 114,000 employees worldwide, right? In Breaking Bad, she says that there's 46,000 employees built over 14 different divisions.
Huh.
I have no idea why I remember that.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I will put my money on it that I'm pretty goddamn accurate. Those are the numbers. I don't know why I remember that.
Well, then you know what, Brian? You get a point.
All right. I'm on the board. So that means that in the course of less than 6 years, they lost
downsize
like quite a bit.
30%, something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, but this is also, there's a robotic revolution going on where a lot of people are losing their jobs to animatronic.
That'd be amazing if they somehow explain that.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll follow Mike and Gus's plotline to find out how Gus ends up downsizing.
Yeah. So just an interesting note.
Maybe Hector just assassinated 50,000 people.
Interesting to know. I can't do the basic math of how what 1/15 of 17.4 million is.
Uh-huh.
But somehow I remember that in Breaking Bad it was 14 different divisions with 46,000 employees.
That is weird.
I have no idea what episode that is in, but
you sure it wasn't 46 different divisions with 114,000 employees?
No.
Okay.
It's possible, but I will almost put money on it that it's 14 divisions with 46,000 employees.
Sounds like something that they could probably delve into in the next season. Upcoming seasons.
It's like now that everybody's involved, how they lose almost 2/3 of their.
Okay. Could be.
It's a very mathematic heavy episode.
Maybe they cut off a section of the company to appease Hector somehow after he has his stroke.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Well, you got to make the payoff money, right?
Right. Sometimes you got to buy your way out of some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Weiner.
So topical. Hamlin McGill office, the Santa Rosa Insurance Company representatives are meeting with Howard and Chuck, and Howard's pissed because they want to double the premium, and he's making the case like
for all their attorneys.
Yeah,
not just for Chuck.
Right.
Like this came back to reflect upon the entirety of HHM.
Mm-hmm. And Howard's pissed because it appears they rarely ever used the insurance.
Wait, he said what, 5 cases since the doors opened or something like that?
like a small handful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it was. I can count on one hand the number of times we've actually had malpractice.
Right, and
issues.
they give them an out, right? Santa Rosa gives them an out and says, hey, all you have to do is basically assign a babysitter to Chuck.
Right. A senior partner to supervise Chuck.
Right.
Well, who's the only senior partner that's active in the company?
Howard, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. And Howard seemed game. He seemed like he was okay with that. Or maybe they would have promoted somebody to senior partner.
Hamlin's mad that Chuck ended the meeting abruptly because Chuck won't play ball.
Right, yeah. Chuck basically said, I'll sue you.
Right.
And even though I could think of like a dozen different infractions off the top of my head.
Sure he can, because he's Chuck, yeah.
Right. And the way Patrick Fabian played that, I loved it. You could see him in the background. At first, he's taken aback when Chuck starts threatening. And then they say, well, if you're threatening us with legal action, this meeting is over. Chuck responds, well, then it's over. And you can see like the flashpoint. You can see the moment in Howard's demeanor where it's like, you motherfucker. Like, seriously? Right? Like he totally talked out of turn, or he just made a rash decision without consulting him. You can see it. Like he was like, son of a, like, dude.
Yeah. Like, I'm just going to say it now. Big ups to PFAB.
Mm-hmm.
He really got to stretch out the acting chops in this one.
He did.
Pretty proud of we were so proud of the guy. You texted him.
I did. I texted. As we were watching it, I texted Patrick Fabian and told him that he did
Not
some great
ballpark, man.
Yeah, some great work in this episode.
They should be up for an ensemble cast Emmy this year. I really hope they are. I think they were last year.
Yeah. I mean, good season so far.
Good season. Good, well acted, well written.
Mm-hmm.
Slow.
Yep. I do like though. Before Hamlin drops the hammer on Chuck, that Chuck is like really giddy about the prospect of a legal fight.
Oh yeah, he just wants to get back in the ring,
right? And this is his chance to like stretch out, break off the ring rust.
We've moved on from Rocky IV to Rocky Balboa. He's a little washed up. He's still got to get back in the ring.
Right. Howard basically proposes that Chuck could maybe do something. He could be a partner. What is a partner emeritus or something like that? So like he wouldn't actually practice, but he'd still remain a partner in the firm.
In name, yeah.
Yeah, because after all, like Al McConnell's a professor,
right?
And hell, Chuck, you've always wanted to write about the Commerce Clause.
Which I'm wondering, listeners, if you remember, Kim calls a professor to ask for some information on how to deal with Jimmy's situation, I think it was.
Oh.
And she's saying, thanks, Professor. She hangs up the phone. I was going to go back and check, but if anybody wants to see if that's the same professor, that'd be kind of an interesting little...
Yeah, like if she was talking to Al McConnell?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Then maybe we'll get to see Al McConnell someday.
All right. That's not a bad... I'd give you a point if we could be definite, but that's a really good...
But I'm not. I'm leaving this one up to our very, very graciously interactive Twitter followers.
Mm-hmm.
Or social media. Anybody.
Social media, like all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chuck doesn't appreciate the suggestion that he should step down, and Howard just kind of put out there. He's like, well, what if it's not a suggestion?
What if it's not a suggestion?
Yeah, breaks.
Yeah, this is not what normal looks like.
Yeah, then things had to get real, right? Because Howard is like, I can't be a partner with somebody that I can't trust her judgment.
Right.
Which has just got to be a super blow to the ego for Chuck.
Oh, absolutely. This whole thing is about him trying to get people to trust him again.
Mm-hmm. Like, how dare you, sir?
How dare you?
How dare you?
That's like Pistols at Dawn kind of talk.
Mm-hmm. Demand satisfaction.
One little glove slap.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, in duels, for some reason I was reading about duel strategy, and did you know one of the most common strategies involved in a duel was turn and fire? It would be to turn, but not fire, because pistols were so unreliably inaccurate back then. The chance was that the person you were dueling against would miss or hit you in the arm or something.
But they can't move until you fire.
They can't move, so you can line up your shot and pick them off.
That was Andrew Jackson's strategy. That's why he's such a badass.
Oh, because
he took one to the chest. He always let the other guy fire first.
Yeah.
And then he takes one to the chest and then puts one like right between the guy's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then goes on to become president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. the way it should be.
That's so funny. We had a president that couldn't get out of the shadow of smoking dope one time. Another president used to murder people in duels.
Simpler time back then. Simpler time back then.
That's when America was great.
That's right. Maybe that's what Donald Trump means when we're going to make America great again. We're just going to start duels.
We're going to start black powder pistol duels.
Yeah, now we're talking. I'll be
throwing
slapping
knives.
I'll be slapping people with gloves all day.
I'm cutting off people on the highway just to start it.
Yeah, somebody's going to get me eventually, but I think I could pick off a few before somebody takes me out. All right, in the oil fields, Kim's working with Gatwood. And pretty much what's going on there is, as he was drilling, one of the underground deposit walls broke and caused some of the oil to go into the neighboring state of New Mexico from Texas. So now the people who own the claim rights in New Mexico want a cut of his money.
Right.
And she comes up with an idea like, well, instead of paying all the taxes and such and paying them for the rights, just offer them damages on their deposit wall.
Call that a win-win.
Call it a win-win, yeah.
Yeah, they get
just
their
be
money.
done with it.
They get money, you're not paying taxes, and you get the oil.
Yeah, and the key to that is to do it super early, too, because if they have time to think about it and they see all the profits or whatever that this company is making, they're going to want a part of the bigger all pie. But like at the beginning, before any of that comes to light or really gets pushed in their head, be like, hey, we screwed up. I'm just going to give you this amount of money for your damages and we'll call it a day.
Right.
And good move.
Good little bit of lawyerings right there. And side note, ponytail game on point, my friend, spiraling like a drill bit.
Indeed. I didn't like that her car got stuck.
Here's my note on that. Car stuck, parentheses, yeah, right.
Why? Why'd the car get stuck?
Honestly, to set up later in the show.
Yeah.
there is, the whole like stopping the car before it hits something.
Mm-hmm. And she gave it a hell of a push, and it seemed like pretty flat land.
That was not a strong enough push to get it out of that ditch.
And at first, I thought it was an idle, and that's why it kept rolling. But she started the car after she jumped in and pumped the brakes.
Right.
So,
no, she started the car. She just didn't she just didn't take the car out of gear, apparently.
Right. So she got right.
So it was idling. I thought it was idling. She just didn't take the car out of gear, so it's idling. So you got a little bit of constant pressure on the tires. So once you knock it loose, it'll climb itself out of the hole.
Oh, maybe that's right. I thought she started the car again to leave after she hopped in and hit the brakes. It kind of gave the sigh of relief that it didn't hit the...
Oh, no, she didn't start the car again. She just slammed on the brakes.
Then I missaw that. Strike that from the record.
Unless we're wrong, you guys can correct us, but I'm pretty sure that she had it in idle to help herself. My whole thing is always put the car in neutral when you're trying to get it out of a stuck spot. Or somebody's in the car. I've done the wooden post thing before. I thought they were going to send it flying or something.
Yeah, like the chunk of wood. It was going to like hit an oil derrick or something.
Right. No. But, because then we kind of laughed about how dramatic it was. But then once the episode ends, you realize why this scene even took place.
Right. But it's a good allegory, my friend, because it shows that Kim is quite literally losing control.
Losing control and has car problems.
Quite. Indeed.
Yes. And as focused and as determined and responsible as she is, sometimes you just can't control everything.
Deep.
The more you know. I just did a star wipe with my hand, by the way.
Late night at H&M, Howard pulls in, and I like how they framed it there, because Howard exits his vehicle, not a care in the world, and you can see Jimmy in the background kind of standing there just waiting for his moment to pounce. Like, you see him, he goes from kind of just standing there to, like, jumping, you know what I mean? Like, he was, like, stationed, ready to go. It wasn't like he was, like, antsy. Like kind of inching forward, Howard, as Howard was leaving the car. Like Howard,
it was business casual.
It's like he waited for Howard to hit his mark before he went into what he was going to do.
It's almost like he planned the whole thing.
Yeah. Almost. It was close though.
Yeah.
Hammond's onto him though.
Oh yeah, he sees right through him.
Calls him a beggar. Pretty much.
Did he?
Well, he says, what, you looking for, he exposes
looking
them.
for a
He says,
handout.
right. You're just here for the settlement. And he gives them a warning. He's like,
and the first thing Howard says to Jimmy is this about Chuck? And Jimmy's response is who? And they just move on from it.
yeah,
But Howard knows Jimmy's looking out for himself,
right.
probably looking for a handout.
And Howard probably empathizes a little bit because he's kind of having the same feelings right now.
Well, kind of, except it kind of invoked a little dickhead Howard there.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of he's not a fan of Jimmy's anymore, obviously.
Right.
Like that bridge has been burned.
Yeah, he's like, are you looking for a payout? And Paul's like, I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't very much. Probably a couple hundred or something.
Probably like a counterfeit 50 or something.
Yeah, it looked like Jimmy thought hard about taking it though.
I didn't get that at all. I thought he instantly turned it down.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought he instantly turned it down. Like, screw you, dude. I'm not looking for a handout from you.
Okay. I saw it as like maybe for a fleeting second he thought, maybe I should take this. Then,
Nah, I think there's too much animosity in there right now. Too much of trying to use each other for their own gain, as it will.
All right.
It's like talking to Gollum.
Mm-hmm.
I thought a Gollum
Was a monster, right?
Yeah, a Gollum is it's a clay monster where you give it instructions and then it does your bidding for you.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Simpsons taught me that.
Yeah. That's what I was under the impression.
So I guess that means there's transparency because it does exactly what you tell it to do. There's no subtext. There's no hidden agendas.
Ah, there you go. So
You know
it's obvious. I got you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Hector and Gus have a sit down. Don Eladio's guy is calling.
I like your comment there was Hector's like the Zippo was like a ticking clock.
Yeah. It was very rhythmic, right? It was like click, click.
Everything in threes. It's a magic number.
Yeah, man. Like.
But yes, they are totally waiting on a phone call.
From Don Eladio's minions. So one of Don Eladio's minions, because he refers to our friend by the pool.
Right. Which I didn't realize that they're in business with lifeguards. You said that. You actually said that one.
But it's even funnier coming from somebody else. Pretty much the whole point of it is Don Eladio likes Hector's way or Gus's way of doing things. And he's like, you know what? That's just how we're gonna move everything.
It's going so smoothly right now. We're not gonna shake this ship. We're not gonna rock this boat. We're not gonna rock this boat. Things are going smoothly, so let's just keep it. This is the new status quo. Which Hector's not happy about.
Hector is not happy. He's so jealous of Gus.
Well,
all he wants to do is be loved.
No, I think he just wants to make money.
And be loved. He totally wants the approval of Don Eladio.
He does. He does.
Perhaps,
but is it for approval's sake or is it to move up within the cartel?
I think it's just for overall validation of everything.
He is kind of a shitty person.
Yeah. Well, Hector, he's a dickhead, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But he not only wants to move up, but he wants Don Eladio to appreciate, how he does things as well. And then here comes Gus, who. They have a history and they don't like each other, but Gus just keeps one-upping them at every turn, right? Remember
he's better than him.
The money, the bales of money, and I like
this is like Amadeus Mozart and that guy that he used to have a battle with.
Elton John. Yeah, two pianists going at it.
Two huge pianists going at it. Candle in the wind.
Just kidding. It wasn't Elton John. It was Liberace. So they were so pretty much every time Hector tries to perform at his best, Gus performs at his best.
It's the redheaded stepchild thing. Every time you bring something, hey, look what I got you, look what I did, aren't you proud of me? And then the real son comes along.
And Gus downplays it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I didn't even want this. It's like somebody that wins like an Oscar or something. It's like, oh, me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh, I had no idea. Like
somebody that wins all state in football and doesn't even like the sport.
Okay, guy sounds like a dick.
Sometimes I think that Gus isn't doing it to screw Hector, but this is after Hector had his friend killed, right? That wasn't.
Yeah, if you do the timeline right,
because way before.
Yeah, that was like
Saul,
in 1989.
So
right?
He is doing it to screw Hector.
Right.
Like, it's not just to be a good businessman and make the most money.
Right, but he's playing it off like coincidentally he's just like
he's trying to like keep it professional on the surface.
like I feel like Gus is like keeps pretending like he struck gold on accident when really he surveyed and planned that shit out. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. But he
knew where the deposits were.
He's the kind of guy, he's like me when it comes to sports. I'm not a shit talker. You don't rub it in people's faces. You just let the results speak for themselves because that's so much worse, honestly.
Right.
You let him stew on it and let him make a big deal out of it. But inside, Gus is like,
yeah,
I got you.
Right. A couple interesting things I noticed was there was a part there when Hector was having his little breakdown or stroke or infarction or whatever he was having.
Fart attack.
Yeah. Nacho and Gus like locked eyes.
Yeah, there was something about that.
I wonder if it was just the way that Nacho, because Nacho was kind of keeping an eye on Hector as it was happening. And Gus,
maybe Gus noticed that.
Yeah, like put two and two together, and for a split second they locked eyes.
Yeah,
and I thought that was
sparks flew, visions of white picket fences happened. Yeah, it was
very romantic.
Heart rates rising, little beads of sweat across the brow.
The most romantic of all the Better Call Saul episodes by far.
Yeah, that moment, that was the most romantic moment.
Yeah, just interesting. I'm sure that'll come into play later.
Yeah, I really think there's something going on with them. But Hector does stroke out. That's what I called it.
Nice.
And it seems like, okay, this is what it seemed like to me, is that he took the pill and felt better. I think he had some sort of placebo effect when he took the pill, because then he's like, takes the pill and he's like, fuck you, fuck everybody. Right. And a lot of our comments, I don't think we addressed this in PWOP, but I think I saw some comments that he wasn't putting poison in the pills, like we said. He's just putting ibuprofen in the pills, so it does nothing.
So it might be that he's not getting the correct dosage of whatever he needs over a period of time.
Right. Well, I think that we thought it was going to happen immediately.
Right.
And it's not. He's going to have some placebo effect that's going to make him feel better, but it's not really making him any better. So eventually it'll, get to that point.
Yeah.
But I think temporarily he is going to have that, I keep saying placebo effect, but
right. And then sometime down the road, that's probably when Nacho's going to have to again switch the pills out when the intended consequence happens, which is hinted at later in this episode.
Exactly. But good call on all the listeners saying that it was, it was just ibuprofen, it wasn't poison. And I think this is, or maybe it'll happen next episode, who knows.
Power walking Jimmy's at the mall. Power walking Jim.
Yeah, in front of the Lids and Aeropostale store. And at first I was like, what did I write? Oh, the Aristotle store. Yeah, the Lids and Aeropostale. And I was like, wait, those places are still around? Oh, yeah, this is 2001. I haven't seen an Aeropostale t-shirt in like 5 years.
I like how...
I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I think it's Aeropostale.
Aeropostale.
Airmail.
Must be Italian.
Yeah, airmail.
Postal.
It is Aeropostale. It's airmail, man.
Oh, hilarious.
I think. We'll go with it.
You did notice that the super subtle Crazy 8 sign in the background, which is actually clever. I like that.
Yeah,
the Crazy 8 store.
Yeah, the big giant green and yellow Crazy 8.
So that's why they call him Crazy 8, because he must get a job there after the Tampico.
Well, yeah. Well, he's been employee of the month for quite a while.
Does he work?
Irene catches up with Jimmy. It's pretty coincidental that she runs into Jimmy twice in 1 week.
Yeah, strangely.
Yeah, odd.
Strangely.
It's almost like he set that up. I like how he way overcompensated for what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
The tracksuit and
totally
everything.
had to look the part. Like,
yeah, the headband. Like, oh, yeah. Whew.
A little overboard, in my opinion.
Yeah, really into it.
Poser.
But he does manage to gift her a pair of those sweet-ass rocking soul power walking shoes. And
Irene calls him a mall walker.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a vampire that shops at Hot Topic.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you a point for that
I was also going to try and make a joke about how like Jimmy dressed up as a mall walker.
Mhm.
It's like how people at Hot Topic when they're getting into goth, they just go all out and get everything goth.
Yeah. And also the way that Jimmy was dressed, if a dance battle broke out, he would have been really prepared for that.
Pre-1992.
Yeah.
Pre-1992.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that
I don't think hip hop groups wore tracksuits since like Run DMC broke up.
Yeah, but when Jimmy McGill was a kid in Cicero, Illinois.
That's right. You know, he was laying down cardboard boxes on the street corners.
Yeah, man, with ghetto blasters and yeah, man.
Chuck was probably laying down the beatboxing.
Yeah, that's how it's done, dude. I like how he had just multiples, like every shoe size of the Rocky shoes.
To cover all of his bases, he just went and bought one of every size, so that way once he found out Irene's size, he can get her the right size.
Yeah, maybe MBT has a really awesome return policy.
Apparently, because wow, that's a whole trunk full of shoes.
Mm-hmm. Where'd he get the money for that?
Loan.
Can't pay
$700 he got from the guy that let him out of community
There you
service.
go. That's probably where he got the money. Like, oh, you can't pay your junior college film crew.
That's right.
Without sweating about it, but you can buy every shoe.
Well, this is all after he got that $700. This is how I play Monopoly, man.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get some cash rolling in, you can reinvest it. You can always mortgage that house later.
Nice.
That's right.
That's true. Tyrantula Doug. Tyrantula Doug has been sitting there this entire time.
But this is clever how he plays off the whole, like, you should have these shoes. They're so comfortable. He gets her to take them as all part of his elaborate scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep using the fact that he's playing long games because I have something later on.
Okay.
But yes. And then he convinces her to take it. Now Irene's walking around with some nice brand new shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Shoving it in people's faces without even knowing.
Yeah.
Kind of like my belly when I walk through a crowded theater.
I like the horn rendition of Popcorn.
Yeah, I thought that was cool because I'm sitting there trying to think, like, what is that song? And then you're like, oh, Popcorn.
Yeah.
Because Popcorn is a song that keeps getting faster every time it comes around.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I've
heard versions like that.
I just remember our perennial third mic, Jeff, and I, when we lived together, he had a techno version of that song.
Hilarious.
And he would lock his room, turn up his computer speakers, and play on loop the techno version of Popcorn while he went to work. So all day, that's all you would hear emanating from the room was...
That's an insane waste of resources.
Well, what was nice about it was during Christmas time, he would do the same thing, but with that super shitty Mariah Carey song.
Is that why you hate that song so much? I fucking hate that
song. That song is so stupid.
All I want for Christmas is the key to Jeff's room.
Poor Irene, though, man.
Yeah, I honestly really felt for her.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's such a sweet lady. She's a grandma. But yeah, she's nothing but nice. She has nothing but the best of intentions. She's just being manipulated like old people are.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason that the Nigerian prince email scheme's been still active for 20 years.
First time that I thought Saul's character was truly a dick.
Not for me. I mean, he's done some I mean, what he did to his brother is pretty bad. But,
yeah, but
to somebody who really,
but I can
really
somewhat understand that
it.
because there's some animus there.
Well,
like there's a lifelong struggle between the two of them. This is just sweet old Irene
being a dick to somebody who truly doesn't deserve it.
Yeah,
yeah, she's really just a victim.
Yeah,
double victim. Sandpiper screwing her.
Yeah,
and this old lady's getting gangbanged.
We get to see Nacho confront his dad at his dad's house. Is Nacho living with his dad?
That's what I couldn't figure out. Because he kicks him out.
Yeah, he says, get out of my house. I wasn't sure if that just meant in that instance or...
Yeah, I don't know if he, because I mean, he's sitting there with a glass of milk,
which
is something you do at home, right?
Yeah. Also, I don't think we've seen where Jimmy lives.
Yeah, he has an apartment.
He has his own apartment?
I thought he still has that apartment from the second season.
Well, no, because that's the Davison Main apartment that they gave him.
I thought he had another apartment after that. No?
I don't think so. I thought he had the Davison Main apartment with all the weird wicker yarn balls.
Yeah,
that he was throwing in the air, right? And we haven't seen him go back to the salon. So I wonder where Jimmy lives, unless he's living with Kim full time.
Maybe. Did he show up at her house when I don't know. This is probably something that's been addressed and we just forgot. So, listeners.
Yep. Whole point of the scene is Nacho has to come clean and tell his dad, hey, this bad dude's going to come in and basically strong arm you.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you want to do and what you're, I know what you're, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
In a weird way, Nacho was so stone cold. It was like almost like he was threatening his own dad.
I didn't also interpret it differently. This was a bite the bullet situation. He's maintaining his nerves because it's really hard to come clean to your parents about stuff like that.
Well, what got me?
It was such a tough conversation to have.
Right.
He had to just like maintain and be serious and show his dad how serious this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realize his dad already knew about a previous relationship with the cartel.
But I saw there was one where it stuck to me, and he says, "Do not do anything stupid."
Right.
And his dad doesn't say anything, and he says,
"Promise me," right, or something like that.
It's like, "Promise me, do not do anything stupid."
Right.
And then he kind of breaks a little bit, and he's like, "Please."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
that's why I got the. I'm thinking he's just being like
trying to convey the seriousness.
Super serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, dude, like seriously.
Yeah.
Don't. Not that he's threatening him,
mm-hmm.
but he's saying that it will be a threat if you don't listen to me.
Right. And it turns out his dad knew that he's worked for the Salamancas before.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he says I'm working with him again.
Yeah.
And then get out of my house.
Mm-hmm. I loved how Michael Mando played that pretty stone cold. I like that.
Yeah, stone cold because he's got a habit of breaking air conditioners.
Mm-hmm. Pointless detail that I noticed for some reason. Nacho's dad has a fire extinguisher hanging on the wall of their kitchen.
Interesting.
So, it's just good to see him being safe.
Must be a shitty cook.
I'm just saying, safety is fun for everyone.
What do you think, Tyrantula Dog? You're a safety manager. That is all.
Back at HHM, Julie is pacing, waiting to give the letter to Howard.
Doing the pee-pee dance pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. She says, I was told to hand this and have you read it as soon as possible. As soon as I saw somebody standing with the letter, I knew that Chuck was going to sue.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. I was like,
know.
oh, he's suing him. Like I said that audibly.
Yeah.
I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, well, Chuck is suing him because I figured there's no way Chuck is just going to accept that.
But then, see, I was kind of letting it. I didn't really have a thought on it. I was watching Howard's reaction.
Right, and
Howard's reaction was like, "Oh yeah, this is like a good letter from Chuck. Like, I'm going to take your offer and retire."
Right, yeah, you're bowing out gracefully because he was even trying to set up the retirement party.
Right,
like, get a band and go to some restaurant that's classy or whatever.
Right,
like make it happen.
Right. That's right. He already starts making the plans in his head.
Right, and he opens the letter, reads it for a second.
Yeah. Super disappointed. Much like my applications from Wesley College.
Disappointing. But the thing is like...
Wesley College is an all-girls school.
Oh, is it? I just thought it was disappointing because he didn't get into a school. I didn't know that it was...
No, it's an all-girls school.
Gotcha, all right.
But I would open it with anticipation and then be supremely disappointed.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, I can understand.
Yeah,
I don't think he was disappointed.
Yeah, he was. He's pissed.
Well, he's pissed, but that's different than disappointed.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I guess what surprised me is that Howard didn't see that coming a million miles away.
Right, kind of like your reaction to my joke.
Why would he give... Exactly. Why would he even give him the benefit of a doubt? He knows who the guy is.
Yeah.
There's no reason he should have realistic, especially after the way that it ended, where Chuck waved him off before he went out the door.
Yeah.
There's no way Howard should have been like, you know what? I bet he's going to take the high road on this, and he's going to send me a letter saying, thank you for the opportunity.
Right. You know what, Brian?
I look forward to your references on my future applications. There's no way.
You know what, Brian? Point for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's kind of, we feel out of character, I think. Or he shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
Yeah.
He should know better.
Yeah.
He should know better.
That's right.
Just saying.
So then he hops right off to go see Chuck.
Yeah. And
now I think that's a smash cut. You can say smash cut.
Smash cut to Chuck's house. I did like he's like, you're suing me.
Uh-huh.
Chuck invites him in.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Howard stormed in the house ready for confrontation and then was taken aback that the lights were on.
Yeah, this is.
It wasn't like an angry condescending, like, oh, the lights are on. Like he was like, you turned the lights on. He was genuinely surprised. Like, it took a lot of steam out of his.
Right.
Like he was shocked.
Which Chuck knew probably would happen. Like, I have to show that I'm over this to get back on, for people to trust me. So now he's faking, faking that he's cured.
Yeah.
But yeah, it totally took like the wind out of his sails because that's a big part of his argument gone.
Right. And I love, because he says like, I told you I'm better.
Right. 100% better.
We just talked about this when
it got me for a second too, because I was in on that until he starts shaking his hand after Howard leaves, I was like, oh, maybe he is 100% better.
Well, they hinted at that back.
They shut the lights off after the meeting.
Yeah, and he turned them on and he held the weird ass like arch lamps on the table.
And then he shakes.
Yeah, that was the whole. This is not normal. Yeah. So, I like, Chuck explains. Well, fuck you, dude, because I built this place with your father.
It's my firm.
Yeah. Your father had a 2-room office before I came along, and look what I did. But then also, you got to buy me out if I do leave, and you don't have the $8 million to do that. We both know that.
Right. And Howard's like, you would rather tear down HHM.
Yeah.
There's another character in the show that's willing to tear down huge organizations to see that they get theirs.
Who would that be?
I think his name's Jimmy McGill. Aren't they related somehow?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like it's the point of the show.
Yeah. The Chuck becomes Jimmy. Jimmy becomes Chuck.
We should write Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan and tell them to go that direction. I mean, they already took our name of the podcast for the name.
Exactly.
For the name of the
idea for Chuck to as the idea for Jimmy to explain where his name comes from. Yes.
Yep. I love the line. If you think I'm trouble now as your partner, imagine me as your enemy.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what they needed. They just needed like about 4 or 5 people to jump in the scene and be like, oh.
You got that meme, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, this show does use a lot of cheesy dialogue and stuff like that because that stuff like that's said in a lot of shows. But it's a very good point.
Yeah, Chuck goes hard.
Very good point. Chuck go hard.
Chuck go hard.
Chuck go hard.
And I wrote here,
Jimmy. There's the episode name. Jimmy plants a card. Chuck goes hard. Kim can't drive a car.
No, that's what we're using. Okay. That's the description? That's what we're using. Okay. I did write in big letters, Chuck giving 0 fucks. So it went from fuck Chuck to Chuck gives no fucks.
Right.
Fuckless Chuck.
Fuckless Chuck.
Fuckless Chuck.
Slipping.
From fuck Chuck to fuckless Chuck.
That's right.
Right.
Chuck's fucking now. He's done being fucked. He's going to start fucking again.
Yeah. So Jimmy's rigging the bingo balls. I did not know that you could
with primer,
or no, sorry, magnetic primer. Did not know there was such a thing.
What? I don't know the practical application for it.
Apparently,
I wish we had prizes because I would love for a listener to tell us some practical applications for magnetic primer that we could reward them with.
Outside of rigging bingo balls,
right? Outside of rigging bingo balls, and maybe making a screwdriver that keeps the screw attached.
Yeah, it was nice to see Jimmy host bingo again.
It was. He's got a lot of personality. I love the clever witticisms that he attaches to the calls.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm not
like B12.
Yeah,
my favorite vitamin.
That's right.
B12.
Or like B something.
Yeah. And then there was there was like a war reference in there too that they would only get. It was like in World War II. Yeah, they did good.
Yeah, clever.
Clever.
Just taps into his personality.
Yeah.
But Irene is still the pariah, man.
Yeah, comes in. Nobody wants to talk to her, but Paul wins.
Bingo.
Oh, my God, I got bingo. And it was good to see some character development for Paul. It's been a while since we've checked in with him. So
it's good to see. It's good to see that Paul's still he's still healthy enough to go out and
he's
socialize.
an underrated character. It's good to see him getting some development.
And he's one shitty prize richer now.
Yeah. What was it like in the first episode we saw that somebody won like a binder with a cat on it?
Yeah, something like that. Was it Felix or Oscar?
Yeah. So after Paul wins, Jimmy hands out the rig card to Irene.
This is where I groan because audio guy tired of the mic. Every time you show a microphone, it's got to feedback.
Yeah, right. We talked about that, right?
There isn't a single sound guy in the history of TV that can get a microphone from stopping to feedback when there is no circular flow of the signal to throw it back into the microphone, which is
it should just sound like a thud, feedback. Right? Like just like boom.
Yeah, like this. Did you hear it feedback?
I did not hear a feedback. Nope. But on a, I didn't hear a feedback. But on a side note, I'm sitting next to your acoustic guitar hanging on the wall.
Yes.
And everything I say, I can, especially with my voice, I can hear.
Your bombastic, deep voice.
Yeah, I can hear it go.
Resonates that bass guitar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's almost like I'm playing it with my voice.
You technically are. You're making the strings vibrate.
Oh yeah.
That's confusing for the listeners.
Yeah, I like the length that Jimmy went through to hide the rigged bingo balls. Like there would be any real life repercussions.
Yeah,
I guess it would ruin his credibility within the clientele.
That's such a hard talk out. Like, why do you have this thing full of bingo balls? Oh, they're extras. Oh, okay.
Right.
So here's the little thing that was the magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Did he put that magnet in there then to get it to catch up the tube? Because you notice every ball was getting caught by a magnet.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, maybe it's for time purposes, but really all 5 in a row. Come on.
No, well, he just wanted to, just by odds, because, true story, my wife and I, we play bingo. We're always the youngest people there by like 30 years, but we think it's hilarious, and it is a lot of fun. So, I mean, but there are usually, because otherwise the games will last for hours, just by sheer numbers, people usually win it by like the 6th, 7th, before the 10th ball call.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's not that uncommon.
Okay.
So he was just solidifying his chances. Plus, it makes her look even worse because everybody's already mad at her for getting the shoes, right?
Like now she's got a 5-play bingo.
Yeah, now she has. Yeah. Now on top of everything, she's the luckiest person in the world and wins fucking bingo on the first 5 balls that she was there for.
Flawless victory style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Irene wins.
Babality.
And nobody's happy for her.
No,
at first I thought it was like
2 people clapping.
Yeah, but like I mean,
that's like me and you at a place where nobody's clapping. You know, the sarcastic. Yeah, somebody's got to clap.
Yeah, but it went from her initial small group of 5 friends or whatever it was to the entirety of everybody that mall walks with her.
Well, yeah, word gets around fast in old folks' homes.
Yeah, and now the entire community turned against poor Irene, which is sad.
It is sad.
She's devastated.
Hold on a second. Okay, we're going. We're good.
Such a shiny moment. Taken away from her.
I just feel so bad for Irene, man.
Poor Irene.
Come on, Irene.
Were you trying to think of the next lyrics? I was doing.
No, because it's Come on, Eileen.
Oh.
We're going to go right from that into Come on, Irene to...
And you know what's funny? Is on the notes, I wrote... So cruel, right? I wrote so cruel. Jimmy pretends to give a shit and goes talk to her. And she confides in him, they've all turned on me. They're so cruel. And I was like, like poor Irene.
Yeah.
Like, you got to feel bad for Irene.
I really, really do.
Yeah. And this is all just so Jimmy can push her into settling.
Selfish bastard.
Yeah.
But he does the right move when she's like, what should I do? And he has the opportunity to be like, do it. He's just, no, listen to your heart.
Right.
Listen to your heart. Make everybody else happy.
Yeah, and it's totally, just so manipulative. So manipulative.
This whole thing's manipulation.
Rough, man.
It is.
I want to know the time frame from when he showed up with the cookies to this moment, how long he worked that con. It's at least 3 days, right?
Probably 3 days.
They showed at least 3 days of power walking.
He's moving quick.
Right. And they also went to chair yoga at least a couple times, right? They invited him to chair yoga, and then he was also at chair yoga with the other girls, telling them about her good fortune and her being the class representative.
He didn't go to chair yoga with Irene.
No, not with the other girls.
Yeah,
with Myrtle and all them, right?
Yeah.
Good. And then one line I didn't like during all that though is he threw in the like, "Hey, well, you know, what's extra money when you have the moral high ground?" Yeah, a little underhanded there. Because not only does he like push them to not like her, he becomes one of the mean girls.
Right. So manipulative.
Yeah, I hopefully on the Insider podcast, the official Better Call Saul Insider podcast, I hopefully they address the time frame that Jimmy, probably a week, I would assume.
Something like that, probably.
Probably a week. Rough to watch. Kim's in the the McGill Wexler office putting together her binders. She's on point, man. She knew that one of the binders out of all of them was missing the survey history.
Yeah, she is on her game.
She is.
She really is. She's really stretching herself out, but she is on her game.
Yep. Jimmy walks in with the Zafiro bottle, call back to Breaking Bad, and whatever episode that was, where maybe 201, where they take advantage of Ken Wynn's.
Oh, that's that super expensive tequila.
Right, that Gus used to kill Don Eladio and his cronies in Breaking Bad.
Oh.
Remember? And then that was also what they bought in the Ken Wynn's episode.
Okay.
Remember they drank like a whole bottle. It was like a $700 bottle or something crazy like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd Jimmy get the money for that?
Yeah.
They haven't settled yet.
Yeah.
Where's he getting all this money from?
I don't know.
What's he been selling?
Must be.
He's got a settlement. He got paid off from the Sklar brothers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Albuquerque. Oh,
ABQ and Tune.
From the guys from ABQ and Tune.
Yeah. Okay. So he has a little bit of capital to
so
fund.
That must
this.
not have went to court. He must have taken us on the spot.
Well,
payout, right?
I would assume, right? Because remember, part of his whole scam was, oh, you don't have insurance. Like,
they must have paid in full
$1,000, so they probably just wrote him a check right there and agreed to buy the.
Yeah, too bad that apparently put an end to Saul Goodman Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Would like to seen that.
It's a bummer.
A little more.
It's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He announces to Kim that, hey, our troubles are over. They're settling, and Kim's taken aback.
Well, she ain't got time for that.
But she does get taken aback by it because she's like, wait,
like so
class
soon?
actions don't move that fast.
Right.
I don't know if she was legitimately surprised that a class action moved that fast,
yes,
or she was a little bit suspicious on how that happened so quickly because they don't. Like, I feel like that was an appropriate response in both ways, but the way I interpreted her looking at him, because she already has like doubts.
Like, you had a hand in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on
I felt
here?
the same way.
Right. And he played such a long con, it'd be hard for anybody to really guess how he did it, except for him. Yeah. So I felt like she knows that something's up, but she doesn't have time for it because
no, she's late.
She got shit to do.
Yeah, and my note here was I think Jimmy would be more understanding. He's really, this is kind of like, I don't know if it's just pushing on the selfishness more.
Mm-hmm.
How it's all about him.
Right.
Because he's like, you got 5 minutes. You're already late. You can be later. You already got 5 minutes. And it's like, I would think.
Yeah, so drive 65 miles per hour and leave at 6:30 or whatever it was. Yeah.
But given everything that he's done for her so far, I wouldn't think he'd want to distract her from this.
Right.
From this situation. Like, he'd be like, oh, my bad. Get the fuck out of here. Go, go to your meeting.
Yeah, he keeps pressing it.
Yeah.
Like, acting kind of like, hey, pay attention to me. Listen to me. And I love how she's just like, all right, take everything you were going to say and tell me later.
Right. Exactly. I got to go.
Yeah. She's on a mission.
So then he tells Brenda.
Francesca.
He tells Francesca, shots.
Yeah.
Shot. Turn down for what?
She's doesn't she I think she mentions that she doesn't typically do shots. And she does the shot, and I love like the expression on her face where it's like in Chicago we have a drink called Malort.
Oh, Lord.
And it's made out of wormwood and it tastes terrible, but that is literally the appeal of Malort, is that it tastes like eating a lemon after you just brush your teeth.
Yeah, it's. I had a description of it on the Nothing Important podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Something about wringing a wet used sock through a diaper.
Yeah, it's. Anybody out
terrible.
there, if you come to Chicago, you will find it at any bar. It's called Malort.
There is always a bottle at Third City Sound, which is the studio that helps us produce our podcast. Mm-hmm. There's always a bottle there because our friend Jeff, who is not the Jeff that hosts with us, but the owner of the studios in a band with, is obsessed with Malort.
Yeah.
If you are a guest in the studio, you have to do a shot of Malort. If you hang out with them after a show, you have to do a shot of Malort.
I have a friend.
Rite of passage.
We have a friend who has his entire ass cheek tattooed in the logo of Malort.
Hilarious.
So, Chicago, if you ever come to Chicago, I dare you, right? Everybody knows about the hot dogs. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows about the pizza. Mm-hmm. I dare you.
Do a shot of Malort.
That will be, honestly, the most Chicago thing that you will do in the city of Chicago.
And if you can like send us, tweet us, or social media us a picture or a video of you doing a shot of Malort, we will laugh at you.
Yeah.
That's about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on the show, but we'll just laugh at you.
And if you want to hear the effects of Malort, a couple years ago, our Super Bowl special was we watched on the Nothing Important, the old school Bud Bull commercials from the late 80s, early 90s.
Yes.
And the penalty for losing your wager was shots of Malort. And if you want to hear what that did to me, it's very audible.
It's very, very audible.
Very audible. So, Malort, do it. So, anyway, yeah, I just love the way that she acted on that. She's like, oh, smooth. Like she doesn't want to ruin the moment, especially since it's her boss, like coercing her to drink.
It's
but
obviously super expensive.
Yeah, she's like, smooth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kim's in the car, going over the terms.
Practicing her pitch. Yeah, on the way to the Gatwood deal.
Yeah. And then
it happens.
Yeah, okay, so the whole time, obviously, I'm like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Jimmy's going to call.
It felt it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure where they were going. I never thought that there was going to be a crash.
I kind of thought maybe. I didn't know.
I thought she was going to run out of gas or something.
I kind of felt the crash coming. But the way it planned out, I would have expected to see, you know how the camera is in the window across the car, and then you'll see the vehicle coming at the last second?
Yeah. Like,
I thought we were heading for a T-bone situation.
Oh, yeah, because that's a classic thing in TV where they're at a stoplight and you can see the car coming in from the background.
Or they're crossing an intersection, and it's like last second you see it, they pull in front of somebody.
Yeah.
But this accident scene, for one, finally the craziness happened. Because we always talk about Nine's the crazy one, and the whole episode was kind of bland. Right. So this is probably obviously the most pivotal point of the whole show.
Bland? Do you think it was bland?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like super intense things going on.
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't think it was bland. It just wasn't intense.
Yeah,
that's how I would put it.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Because we're 67 minutes in. We've had a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about the way that was shot and the way that scene, that accident was produced, that kind of scarred me. I don't know if I watched too many Saw movies or something. It was super realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. There's obviously a jump cut.
Yeah.
Which
it was like two really quick, right?
Yeah.
It was a jump cut. You barely see like half a second of her like going face first into the airbag, and then another jump cut takes place after she has reeled back and settled into her seat. And so it created like this
even before she hits the airbag, there's like another, like a frame.
Yeah.
There's like this and then one frame in between and then it hits. And there's something about movies and seeing that, to me, that unsettles me.
Yeah.
Those time jumps.
It's jarring.
Yeah. It really it gives me the chills. It freaks me out.
Yeah. And the way they set that up was perfect because a few episodes ago, she tried to take a nap.
Yes.
And, it like that really quick like jump where she kind of settles in, gets comfortable, and then she's startled awake.
Right, which
abrupt.
Yeah,
very abrupt.
Because my first thought was like, well, that's cheap. You can't just throw a car accident out of nowhere like that. That's like you can't have a twist ending that doesn't give you any clues that the twist is coming. Because that's just stupid and cheap.
Right.
But then you brought that up, like they set this up.
Right.
And it's like, not only she literally trained herself to take 5-minute naps in the front seat of her car.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that one bit her in the ass.
Yeah. And then once again, ponytail game still on point.
Still on point. Still on point.
Indeed. She got out of the car and she was holding her arm.
I didn't even notice that.
She had trouble getting out of her car and she was holding her right arm. So she has the black eyes. So I would assume her nose is broke.
Busted face.
Yeah. Busted face. So it looked like to me, I don't know if you ever had your nose broke, but you typically get black eyes when your nose breaks.
Yeah.
And the bridge of her nose was cut open a bit. So she's got some real damage from going off road and hitting that rock. And plus she's kind of alone because as it pans out, nobody's coming off the off ramp and the highway's still a ways out. You know?
Right.
And I just love the little moment, again, because I'm big about little moments. I love the little moment of the wind sweeping through the broken car.
And then the paper gets
some of the papers just like
and then it falls. Well, I'm trying to think of how the name applies to the episode.
I don't know, but that was probably the lamest confetti ever.
Episode over. Here comes Rip Taylor.
So overall, not the crazy episode 9 that we're used to.
But in a way, yes, because I'm still haunted by the accident, and that's going to be a big deal.
You know what? For a split second there, because you always joke that Kim Wexler died.
I was all day I'm thinking about that. I always joke about Kim dying.
Yeah.
And that was the first thought. When the accident happened, I went, oh my God, I was right.
Yeah, for a split second there, I'm like, she's dead.
Yeah. Like they did kill off Kim.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Mm-hmm.
She's still hurt. She may not make it home. Yeah,
who knows?
I honestly think we're going to get into this in probably in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this, that maybe Jimmy might have to use some of the settlement money to help Kim take care of her bills.
Ah.
So he's going to push harder for the settlement.
Or since they're partners, he's going to have to buy her out when she leaves the firm because she's overworked and she's already suspicious of him as well. So it'll be like a parallel to Howard and Chuck.
Like she's physically unable to work,
but
she's still on the payroll.
Yeah. How about that for shits?
So then when he comes back to being a lawyer after suspension, he might come back with an alter ego.
Yeah.
Which totally fits about 5 seasons.
Nice.
We may never see Saul Goodman.
What if Chuck and Kim Wexler then team up against Howard?
Ooh.
Because they both have animus towards Howard Hamlin.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both suspicious of Jimmy.
They're
both affected by Jimmy and the whole manipulating the paperwork and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck never once blames Kim for it.
Right.
He knew that Jimmy did it for Kim, but he still didn't somebody does something on behalf of somebody else and they hate that somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
Or that's not an appropriate analogy.
Not at all. But I was going to let you work through it.
Else, they totally misdirect their anger.
Yeah.
He never did that with Kim. He never blamed Kim for what Jimmy did, which is totally, some people would do that.
Right.
If it wasn't for you, this would never happen.
Right.
No, it's always been directed at Jimmy. So now they both hate Jimmy, or they're both not so cool with Jimmy.
They have common enemies.
Yes.
They have common enemies.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's right. That's right. Also, on a programming note, we did get preview with the prior out previous to episode 309, but it is a very special preview with the prior that is almost
exclusively
listener correspondence.
That is correct. It's not even really so much a preview anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably going to be posted late because I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot things I need to do to edit it.
Mm-hmm. So make sure to check out the Nothing Important podcast. There will be new episodes coming up soon. Make sure to check out A Plumbus Among Us. Make sure that you're downloading, using, participating, and looking at the TV Time app. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Podcast Detroit, all those other everywhere. Make sure that you get your questions, comments, suggestions, and platitudes to us through our various comment sections on everything that we are on social media-wise, so we can do the preview with a prior proper for season 3 finale, episode 10. The alliteration that I used there on the spot, it tripped me up. But anyway, we want to hear from you. We want to have an awesome time watching and discussing episode 310, 30 years, episode 310 with you guys. And of course, just like last year, I think we'll probably the following week do a follow-up episode for the season
with Jeff.
Yeah, probably with Jeff. And then we'll go into our weird quasi hiatus state where we'll keep trying to get interviews and exclusives for you guys.
That's right.
Yep. And it'll be, we'll keep this train rolling. So we'll see you just as the credits roll for episode 310. Dave?
We've had the AC off this entire hour plus that we've been recording, and I blame Nacho. Call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever, just call us.